Hey everybody, this is James of Rattlesnake Defense. Today I have the new Smith and Wesson M&P 2.0 22 Magnum. Very creatively named gun. This is in the 22 Magnum. This is very similar, of course, to the Kel Tec PMR30. I have a lot of thoughts and a lot to say on this gun, so stay with me and we'll see if it's actually any good or not. Stay tuned. Alright, so today we're here to talk about Smith and Wesson's new M&P 22 Magnum. It's a semi-automatic, 30 rounds. I have some really complicated feelings on Smith and Wesson. Let me explain. Number one, I'm a certified Smith and Wesson armorer. I took the M&P armorers class a few years back. The store is a repair center, Smith and Wesson M&P repair center, because I'm in it. So that's one. Number two, Smith, when the first M&Ps first come out, the shields first come out, I was a big fan of the shield. I actually carried one of the shields for years in 9mm in the Performance Center. I have no hate of Smith & Wesson as a company as far as their products go. I do have some problems with the corporate. In the store, regarding map pricing, some stuff like that, I've had a lot of issues with Smith & Wesson corporate, and we've had a handful of fights, so to speak, between my store and the corporate side of Smith & Wesson. But that being said, this isn't innovation. This is the third gun that I'm aware of that Smith & Wesson has just borrowed from Kel Tec's catalog. First, you had that KSG shotgun whose name I can't even remember. I can't be bothered to remember. It was like a KSG that cost twice as much but wasn't even as good. Just last time, you have the 9mm that folds this way instead of this way so that you can put an optic on it, which is a 9mm carbine just like the Kel Tec folding carbine, except Smith and its infinite wisdom decided to give it Smith & Wesson magazines instead of Glock magazines, which I feel like was a huge missed opportunity, because one of the coolest things about the Kel Tec is it takes Glock mags, which me and a lot of other people have in abundance. So we come to this, the newest one, which is a PMR30, 22 Magnum, 30 rounds, optics ready. I mean, this is Smith's take on a Kel Tec PMR30. The problem with that is if you're gonna come out with guns that are clones of other guns, there needs to be some advantage to buying it. It needs to be better. It needs to be cheaper. It needs to be in some way to incentivize me to spend the extra money for the same thing. My problem is right out the gate. I'm gonna get close so you can see this. The screws right here weren't even tightened down when I got this thing. And then the front sight, it's not even in the sight channel. I did a short video on this and released it, but the front sight is not even where it's supposed to be as far as that goes. So it's literally canted several degrees off this way and not even in the sight channel where it's supposed to be, because the right-hand side's kicked up out of the sight channel. This should have never left Smith & Wesson's factory. It's embarrassing that it left Smith's factory this way. You know, I expect this. I know it's a new product. I know there's a rush to get the stuff out. I understand all that. But come on, guys. You could do better than this. You know, I don't have sponsors, all right? Nobody sends me these guns. I buy these guns out of my pocket. So I'll say whatever I want about it. So I spent my money on this gun that I have to send straight back to Smith & Wesson for repair as soon as we're done here, because it's not right out of the box. So I'm paying a $150 premium on top of Kel Tec's price for a gun that is already defective. And I just want that right out of the gate. I want everybody to know that. I want you to hear that from me. I'm sure they'll take care of it. Clearly it's under warranty, but I feel like if you're coming out with a new pistol and you really want to push this thing, you would pay a little more attention, guys, to what's leaving your factory, because it makes me wonder about everything else. Now, we know this is more expensive than the Kel Tec. Is it better? I don't know yet. That's what we're up here to find out, and we will find out very shortly. But, you know, I've fixed lots of Smith & Wessons. I've never had issues like this. This is a pretty unique problem. So maybe it's just an isolated incident. Maybe I was just the unfortunate person who ended up with this pistol in the condition that it's in right out of the box. But, you know, I'm not just a YouTuber. I'm also a customer of Smith & Wesson's. So I expect to get what I'm paying for. This is not good. So we'll see if the pistol performs better. We'll get back to the range, shoot it a little bit, and see if it does better than what the Kel Tec does. But, you know, I just want to get this off my chest right away, let you guys know where we're at before we do the rest of this review. So, without any further ado, let's shoot the Smith & Wesson 22 Magnum M&P. Alright, right out of the box as I'm loading it, I can tell you that it's physically bigger than a PMR30. The fit and finish, other than the stuff that I mentioned was messed up, is actually pretty good. I got no beef with that. The stippling feels decent. The action feels smooth. Everything looks good. So that's a 1+. I have CCI Maxi-Mag 40 grain 22 Magnums, as tends to be the preferred food for this type of pistol, based on my experience with Kel Tec. The magazine loads fairly easy. We'll see if we have any hang-ups or anything. I got 5 rounds loaded. Let's give it a go. It's not loading the rounds. Well, it shoots pretty straight, but that's not very promising. Give me a second. Let me get a full magazine loaded. We'll see. Maybe it's just new. Let's look. All right. So I have 30 rounds loaded of good ammunition per the book. I've read the book. I've loaded this magazine up per Smith & Wesson's instructions, per the ammunition that Smith & Wesson told me to load in it, the way they told me to load into it. So to the naysayers of the comments, whatever happens next, I did this exactly the way the book told me. So I don't know how this is going to go, but let's see. All right, that went moderately well. We had one that didn't feed right. I hit the target the vast majority of the times. The recoil is good. The trigger pull is actually pleasant. As far as the way the gun handles, I have no real complaints. Now, it's a little hard to aim, as I complained before, because the front sight is off. This thing is now hotter than the depths of hell itself, so I'm going to let it cool off a minute. Set some targets out at 25, and we'll see if she actually groups any good. All right, 40 grain CCI, five round groups. I'm gonna shoot the corners and then the middle at 25 yards. mean, that's not terrible for what it is. You know, hey Smith, it'd be a lot easier if you put the front sight on straight. Maybe these groups will look better. Just saying. I come up here because I was pissed off at Smith and Wesson. I'm still pissed off at Smith and Wesson. But if you want me to be honest, there's not a whole lot. Look at that. Jams on the first rim. Come on, man. I mean, the thing shoots good, but first round the magazine wants to hang up. No, there's no special instructions to the magazine. And yes, this is the very first run. And no, they didn't get the front sight on. Yes, I'm going to keep harping about that. So there's that. But as far as shootability, it does just fine. 22 Magnum handgun. Let's rapid fire like 20 rounds and see if it hangs up. All right. So it's got a safety. It's a little stiff. It is ambidextrous. Ambidextrous controls. This gun feels, excuse me, I've been sick. It feels a lot bigger than the PMR. It feels a lot smaller than the WMP. It's priced about the same as the WMP. I've had a couple hang-ups. Nothing, you know, nothing catastrophic. This is the very first gun out of the box. It is not broke in. So if you're somebody who's a forgiving person, you really like the idea of this, and this is something you want, I feel like I haven't said anything that's going to talk you out of it necessarily. If you're on the fence, you know, do with this information whatever you want. I don't know. You know, it shoots good. It handles good. The trigger's nice. The sights, except for, you know, are decent. We're going to rapid fire about 20 rounds to it and see if we can get the hang up. I'm shooting at something at 100 yards, so if you hear a ding, it'll be a miracle. It's a lot of plastic. Of course, the Kel Tec's the same way. A lot of the new guns are that way. It does have a Picatinny rail. You could put optic on it. Some of these 22 Magnums are really picky about optics. As far as like the weight goes, it increases the mass on the slide and it could cause some problems. But maybe that's something we'll worry about in the future. I will, I guess I'll send this back to Smith and Wesson with a nasty worded letter and have them fix the front sight anyway. I will post a short or some conclusion to that whenever that is resolved and let you guys know how that goes. So I've been as honest as I can with you on this one. This gun actually shoots pretty well. It handles pretty well. I think it's a little overpriced. I think you need to take a hard look at Kel Tec also. But if for whatever the reason you really want a 22 Magnum, maybe you've had a bad experience with Kel Tec, or maybe that's just not the brand you want to go with, this is something to look at. Just look the gun over really good. But, you know, I'm not going to badmouth it too much. It did, for the most part, what it's supposed to do with a few exceptions. And guys, mistakes happen. You know, Smith and Wesson makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. I've seen every kind of gun there is messed up come in my store. Yes, that includes Glocks that were bad from the factory. So maybe I should give them a break. Maybe I shouldn't. You guys let me know what you think in the comments if I'm being too harsh. But I appreciate you guys watching. As always, if you like my content, throw me a subscribe. It means a lot to me. Throw me a like. It helps. The algorithm doesn't like gun stuff. And I appreciate you hanging out this long. Thank you guys.